we went together from where she comes from. When we went there, that was when she told me that she wanted to go and see this other relative of hers, but they are not blood relatives. It is only that they share the same totem. When we went there, that was when her so-called uncle told me that there was something that he had seen in the spirit. So he was going to give me some herbs, and when I had arrived back home, I was supposed to plant those herbs just close to my first wife's bedroom. And the way that my second wife did all of these things, she was very clever, because even when I was still staying with her in the city, and when my first wife had returned back to the village, I saw that when it came to sexual intercourse, when I will be with my first wife, I would never enjoy, so much that my manhood sometimes would even refuse to get erect. But the moment that I would step into my second wife's bedroom, my manhood will then get its energy. So each time when I spoke with my second wife about this issue, because I was open enough with her, I asked her what was going on with my body, because when I was with her, I was able to perform all of my husband duties. But the moment that I will be with my first wife, it was as if I was like a dead man. Nothing was working at all. But to me, she suggested that since she was more beautiful than my first wife, because when I got married to my first wife was not my choice as such. It was that marriage out of convenience, because of the way that she had assisted me. And by the time that I started working, that was when I was able to get the woman of my dreams. So she said that since you told me that when you married your first wife, it was out of desperation, and when you got married to me, it was because you choose me. It means that whenever you are with me, then your heart will be very happy. But whenever you are with your first wife, then your heart will not be happy. That is why you are not able to satisfy her sexually. But she said that she was going to assist me. That is the other reason why I agreed when she said that she wanted me to accompany her and go with her to her relatives' place where she came from. So when I was sitting with my second wife's uncle, that was when he started speaking about all of those bedroom stuff as per our custom. He asked me if I was able to satisfy both of my wives. I then explained the situation as it was happening. He then told me that he was going to give me some herbs, but I think that those herbs that he gave me, they even damaged me further. What he did is that there is this flower, I don't know what is the name of that flower. That time when he gave me these herbs, it was during the rainy season. This flower that he gave me, it usually comes out when it has rained. Unfortunately, I have forgotten the name of that flower, but it is very bitter. A lot of people here in Zim, they use it to cure STIs, different types of STI, especially that one that is called drop. So he then took that green flower that is very bitter, he mixed it in a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola, and he gave me to drink. He said that when I had returned back home, I was supposed to mix some more for this thing. It was supposed to be done overnight. Then early in the morning, I was supposed to drink that herbal mix on an empty stomach. So I think that by the time that he gave me all of these herbs, maybe they had already decided to put some charms in there, because as for now, whenever I am with my first wife, my manhood really gets cold, so much that I feel embarrassed, and at the same time I really feel sorry for what happened to my wife. Because when we returned back home, me and my second wife, she then reminded me that I was supposed to do this before the next sunset. This I had been told. So when we arrived, it was during the afternoon. Then in the evening, that was when I was supposed to dig these charms close to the place where my first wife's bedroom was. So I woke up, and my second wife, she was by my side as I was busy digging up these charms, and she was whispering a lot of evil things into my ears, so much that I believed each and everything that she was telling me on that night. My brother, the very following morning, my first wife called me to her room. Then she told me that she had a very terrible dream, and in her dream, it was me and my first wife. We were busy fighting against her, and we had managed to defeat her. After that, my brother, when I went to my first wife's bedroom, this was after a couple of weeks, I then found out that my wife was not there in the bedroom. When I looked at her bed, I then saw that there was something that seemed to be crawling just underneath her blanket, and I decided to open so as to see what was going on in there. I then saw a snake on top of my first wife's bedroom. I screamed, and the moment that I screamed, I then saw that my second wife, she was already standing at the door. This thing, it gave me a lot of suspicions, even up until today. I suspect that the charms that my second wife's uncle gave to me were the ones that caused my wife to be transformed from a human being, and she became like a snake. Because on that very same night, when me and my second wife planned to go and dig in those charms just right next to my first wife's bedroom, I even had a terrible dream even before my first wife had confronted me one day, and when she had told me that she kept on having these very terrible dreams, and in those dreams it was me and my second wife, we were busy fighting against her, and in the end we had managed to defeat her. I had the same dream that very night after I had returned with my second wife into her bedroom so that we can sleep. Just when I had fallen asleep, I then saw myself fighting against my first wife. This dream, I could not even understand it. But when I woke up the very following morning, when I was about to tell my second wife this dream, she seemed not to be interested, and I just remained quiet. The day that I walked into my first wife's bedroom, and when I saw that there was something that was moving, that was in between her blankets, when I opened the blankets up, upon seeing that huge snake, when I screamed, the first person who arrived at the scene was my second wife, and she was not even afraid, as a woman whom I knew to be very afraid of snakes. But on that day, if my memory still serves me well, my second wife, she was not even afraid. She kept on looking at that snake, just asking me what it was. Then she wanted to scream because she wanted the whole community to come and see what was happening in my wife's bedroom. But I then told her that if she was going to scream, then she was supposed to pick up her clothes, for this was a family secret. No one was supposed to know these things that had happened. I then informed my relatives, and I told them that they had to come because there was a matter which was urgent that we needed to discuss as a family.